Yep, here he comes. Riding his trusted steed through the Sierra foothills as he brings you the news.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
He calls himself
CharLee!
What you doing, Charlie?
Sorry, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. There you are. Look how cute you are. Yeah.
Hey, Charlie. What's with the dark glasses?
And now, here he is, a man of God, living in a world of Disney.
Ow, Charlie!
CharLee Simons.
Charlie bit me.
Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much.
I realize the importance of Attorney General for any capacity. There's an Attorney General for a town, city, county, state, then of course national. And we're seeing the effects of the crime that has been rampant throughout the United States of America based on just who is sitting in that seat as Attorney General, who's willing to prosecute, who's going to sit back and let its current administration dictate all policy, like under Biden, where we saw criminals being released. It was just insane. It was insane. So I know how important the office of Attorney General is, especially to California.
Yeah.
But I will admit, there was a time in my life, I'm just a good old boy from Bakersfield. I had no idea. I thought it was affiliated or associated with the U.S. Army. If you're a general, you must be with the military. That's how ignorant I was. And I know that a lot of us are. We don't even vote the entire ballot because we have we can get to Attorney General. It's supposed to be a nonpartisan thing. So even if we're staunch conservatives, we're not going to vote in that because I don't know who this Michael Gates is. I don't know anything. Who Rob Bonta? Who is that? Oh, they don't watch that kind of news. They're too busy watching games. Fun comedy shows are on TV. I don't have time for this. It's sad. I wish it weren't so. But then I realized, Michael, I was that guy for a long time.
Yeah.
And it is such a vitally important office. And we're seeing the results of Rob Bonta, who's been our AG for how long now? And his wife doing the Stop Nick Shirley Act.
Yeah.
She took his spot when he was appointed Attorney General.
Right.
She took his spot, and now she's written the edits, gone through, it's passed, and it's happening where journalists like me who dare to call out this kind of rampant fraud and crime can be prosecuted, can be fined, can be arrested. It's insane. This is coming from the guy who's supposed to be protecting us at the very, very top. That's Rob Bonta. That's the guy you're running against this coming November. Congratulations, making it past the primaries. Thank God.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. Yeah, it's unfortunate but true. A lot of people don't know about the Attorney General, and in a way, I think it's by design. I don't think our leaders, our educators, the media want people to know how important these roles are in our state government, including the controller, which is a separate position but incredibly important when it comes to fighting waste, fraud, and abuse, and protecting taxpayers. So the Attorney General is the chief legal advisor for the entire state of California, but also the top law enforcement officer for the state. So anything having to do with the law and or fighting crime is the Attorney General's purview. The California Constitution under Article 5, Section 13 specifically outlines that the Attorney General is the one who has authority over all 58 counties. That's all 58 sheriff's departments, and this is throughout the state of California. All 58 sheriff's departments throughout the state of California, and all 58 district attorneys' offices throughout the state of California, which means their entire departments, both sheriffs and district attorneys, fall under the purview of the Attorney General. So when the Attorney General's in Sacramento, they're not off in some ivory tower, disconnected from the real world. The Attorney General is supposed to be working with each of the 58 district attorneys on a daily basis and each of the 58 sheriffs on a daily basis to make sure that California is kept safe, that we're enforcing criminal laws, and that we are abiding by the law, including federal laws, and enforcing all state laws. So there's a lot of work that should be done by the Attorney General. Our current Attorney General, as you know, is not doing that critical work.
It's quite the opposite. Quite the opposite.
And
look
because
what was that? Senate Bill 73 has passed, and he's enforcing it. And that is going to force people like Sheriff Chad Bianco. You mentioned working with the Sheriff's Department. It's the only elected law enforcement position we have where we, the people, get to choose who's going to be protecting us in our counties, at least. And they're targeting Sheriff Bianco when he got all those ballots. And he's going to prove that there was some rampant fraud down there in his county. And they did everything they could to stop him and shut him down, including passing Senate Bill 73, which is supposed to just neuter all that and any kind of federal investigation into election fraud in California. And it went through. And Rob Bonta is going to enforce that, isn't he? Their current Attorney General.
Yeah, and there are sort of oddball pieces of legislation, oddball laws now that are going to be enforced by Rob Bonta because they serve his political ends. But the other thing too, don't forget, is and this is really important. A lot of people in our everyday Californians in our common communities, meaning those who are exposed to violent crime, those who are exposed to a lot of the problems that we see in our society. Those people are suffering greatly. California under Rob Bonta is ranked, if you look at the FBI data and you measure violent crime, California is ranked number 6th highest in crime in the entire nation. So number 6 out of 50 states, which means California is one of the most dangerous states to live in because of Rob Bonta failing to enforce criminal laws, failing to work with his district attorneys and his sheriff's departments on a daily basis to enforce the laws that are already on the books. I, on the other hand, was the city attorney of Huntington Beach for 10 years. I was the top criminal prosecutor there. And we started prosecuting crime in Huntington Beach aggressively in 2017 after Prop 47 and 57. Now, remember, Huntington Beach is one of the largest cities in the state of California out of nearly 500 cities. It's ranked 23rd in size. It's the 23rd largest city in the state of California out of nearly 500 cities. So it's got 200,000 residents, 15 million visitors a year. So if there's a potential for high crime, you could find it in Huntington Beach. And what did I do in 2017? Well, in 2017, I was very aggressive on fighting crime. And now Huntington Beach is ranked in the top 10 safest cities in the state of California out of nearly 500 cities. So while my city is ranked one of the safest in the entire state of California, Rob Bonta's state is ranked one of the most dangerous in the country.
I want to point out to everybody, too, you gave up a very lucrative private sector job to take that job as a lead attorney in the city of Huntington Beach. Yeah. You gave up a lot of money. You gave up a lot of, I could be the next, who knows, whatever, fill in the blank. But you didn't. You took that public job and you did such an extraordinary job. Yeah. And I've heard you speak a couple of times, and both times I thought, man, every Californian needs to hear this. Every Californian. People across the country need to hear this. This is the approach. This is how it can work. This is how it is working. He's already made it work. Now let's make it work in the state. Yeah. But the media ignores you. They'll never talk about you. They'll never promote the importance of what it is that you're running for. Like you said, it's not by accident. And we don't get involved. Oh, those are attorneys. I don't like attorneys anyway. Want to hear my favorite attorney joke? That's basically the attitude. Well, you're not all like that. Yeah. You're not all bad. And you're not able to get your message out, which is a great one. And your vision for how to get it done, which is a lot better than just saying, here's what I'm going to do. I want to hear how you're going to do it. And if you go to your website, which I have here, you see, he spells it out in there. Yeah. And but you can't get your message out, and nobody knows, and nobody seems to care until people like me get involved and say, okay, I got a little audience here, Michael Gates. Why don't you come on the show and let people know why I want to pay attention to this race come November and actually vote for you? Yeah. So my platform is yours, buddy, because I don't care if people really like me. I just wanted to know, I want them to be able to trust me. Right. That's the most important thing to me. So if I've seen Michael speak and I've heard what he has to say and I've shook his hand and I've met him at the California GOP convention down in San Diego, I trust him.
Yeah.
So I hope you trust me to trust him as well. But explain why it's so important and what you can do and want to do and will do, Lord willing.
Yeah, well, thank you. And thank you for having me and giving me this microphone, so to speak, to be able to talk to your audience. So, like you said, people, I guess, don't embrace attorneys, yet a lot of what we're suffering from in California right now is at the hands of attorneys. So what we really need to do is put the right attorneys into office, put the right attorneys into leadership so that we can turn California around. The short answer to your question is we are a lawless state right now. Rob Bonta was put into office in 2021 by Governor Newsom when the Attorney General seat was vacated because Becerra went to work for the Biden administration.
Javier Becerra went to work for slow Joe Biden.
Yeah, so with the open seat, Newsom appointed his political buddy, his career politician, Rob Bonta. He had just spent 10 years in the legislature as a career politician, and then Newsom appoints him as our Attorney General. Ever since then, he's been running interference on truth. He's been running interference on justice, including criminal justice. And frankly, he's been covering for mass corruption. We see corruption throughout the state of California, whether it's in pockets in our election system, our voting system, but also with the waste, fraud, and abuse that we're seeing, nearly $500 billion of taxpayer money lost through waste, fraud, and abuse. That's all at the hands of Rob Bonta because the state auditor has already reported that state leadership knew about the waste, fraud, and abuse for years and did nothing about it. Yeah. So Rob Bonta is a bad actor. And what I want to do on day one when I'm Attorney General is we are going to return California to a law and order state. So what does that mean? That means we're going to enforce criminal laws aggressively, just like we did in Huntington Beach, where we made Huntington Beach one of the safest cities in the state of California. I'm going to use the same exact laws that are on the books, the very same exact laws that are on the books. And I'm going to make other cities as safe as we made Huntington Beach. We're going to enforce Prop 36 on day one with or without funding. We're going to fight corruption throughout the state of California. All this waste, fraud, and abuse, the nearly $500 billion, that's going to be, I'm going to prosecute those crimes, those responsible for stealing our money.
Yeah, working with the sheriffs.
I know, exactly. Working with the sheriffs, working with the district attorneys, and we are going to put people behind bars, and I'm going to use the criminal justice system to claw back that money, whatever it is. If it's 25 cents on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar, whatever it is, it'll be billions of dollars. I'm going to use the criminal justice system to claw back that money. I'm going to find the small islands, the yachts, the mansions, and the bank accounts. I'm going to liquidate those assets, and I'm going to return it back to the taxpayer by using the criminal justice system. We're going to be compliant with all federal laws, including federal immigration law, federal elections law, First Amendment, Second Amendment, like you mentioned, the Stop Nick Shirley Act, that's going to end. So I've already declared that on day one, the Stop Nick Shirley Act that is being passed through the legislature right now, if it's signed into law, that will die on day one when I am Attorney General. The other thing that's going to happen on day one is I'm going to let my sheriffs know, all 58 of them throughout the state of California, that if they are not issuing concealed carry weapons permits within 90 days, they are in violation of the Second Amendment. So I am going to use my office to protect the constitutional rights of everyday Californians up and down the state, as well as reduce crime in their neighborhoods. I want every city in the state of California to be as safe as Huntington Beach is. It can be done. There's no secret sauce. It's literally enforcing the same laws on the books that are available to Huntington Beach as are available to other cities throughout the state of California and available to Rob Bonta. He just refuses to enforce them. So we're going to make California safe again, and we're going to end the corruption, and we're going to protect the constitutional rights of everyday Californians.
Not only refuses to put them into effect, but also suing the president.
Yeah,
suing the president over and over again. Same with Becerra. That's what the Attorney General has been doing, using our money to sue the president that's trying to keep us safe from. But we're a sanctuary state. You mentioned Prop 36. Thank you for bringing that up. That we voted to amend that horrific. I'm forgetting the proposition.
Prop 47, Prop 57.
Thank you. This is the one that made it a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
As long as whatever you steal is under the value of $950. We started seeing smash and grabs all over the place. It was insane. It was out of control. So we, the people, stepped up, got this legislation, got it on the ballot, passed Prop 36 overwhelmingly, and nothing's been done about it because the governor and the attorney general of this once golden state have said, Yeah, we're not doing anything. We're not touching it. We're not funding it. We're not going to let it happen. Now, you said at one point, I'm going to stop the Nick Shirley Act. Well, that was passed by the legislature. They're the ones who make the laws. The governor signs it into law, rather. Right. They propose it. He signs it. How could you not, or how could you stop that? How could you end that?
Because basically what the Stop Nick Shirley Act does is it criminalizes certain behavior, certain conduct. It criminalizes basically the first exercising of the First Amendment, both for free speech and for freedom of the press. And so I will suspend the enforcement of that, because remember, I have control over the district attorney's offices and the sheriff's department. So we're going to suspend enforcement. Why? Because enforcement would violate federal law, and the state cannot take any action or do anything to violate the federal rights, the federal constitutional rights of Californians. So I will be in a seat, I will be in a position to be able to suspend enforcement, and I will also have it deemed unconstitutional in the courts. So there's a few things that I'm going to do.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Would you take it to the next level to fight against your own state fellow government folks? Yep. To actually say, no, this is unconstitutional. Yeah. No, you can't do this. That would be a tough move. And as they always say, political suicide for you, but who cares? It's not like California's got any kind of say anyway with our super majority of Democrats. Yeah. I love to hear you say that. Thank you.
And when I go to Sacramento, I want people to know too, I'm not a career politician or a professional politician. I'm an everyday Californian who's been blessed with a great family, married almost 30 years, 5 kids and 4 grandkids, and also blessed with an amazing legal career. I have done some remarkable work. Not only was I tough on crime in Huntington Beach, but I also have tried many multi-million-dollar cases, civil cases in court. I'm a real trial attorney, while Rob Bonta was a professional politician spending his time in the Capitol in Sacramento. I've spent my time in the courtroom fighting for everyday Californians. So when I go to Sacramento as AG, I can guarantee you I will not be there to make friends. I'm going to make plenty of enemies. I'm going to continue to fight for everyday Californians, because I'm going to use my experience and the knowledge that I've gained over the years fighting for everyday Californians, particularly in government, whether it's the city of Huntington Beach, but also working for the administration last year in Washington, D.C. I'm going to use that knowledge and experience to fight for everyday Californians and protect their constitutional rights and make California safe again.
Let's talk about that, because you were on the federal level for a bit there, weren't you? What happened? What was that like?
Yeah, so it was amazing. I was offered a spot with the administration in early 2025, and I actually went back to Washington, D.C., working right there at 950 Pennsylvania Avenue for the Department of Justice. I was working as the Deputy Assistant Attorney General for the United States Department of Justice in the Civil Rights Division. It was a 12-minute walk from the White House. I was right there on the 5th floor working with Pam Bondi. I was there really doing a lot of work on fighting criminal laws or enforcing criminal laws, fighting crime rather, but then also election integrity. So if you heard last year that the Department of Justice sued California for violating federal elections laws, that was my lawsuit. I was literally fighting many states, including California, and I ended up suing California over its lack of compliance with federal elections laws. So a lot of great work there, but I was living away from home. I left my wife and my kids and my grandkids here, and it proved to be too much. It was hard to be working in DC full time while having my family here in Huntington Beach. So
I don't know, buddy. I don't know if I could live there either. That's
I mean, it actually is in a lot of ways what people describe it as. I mean, it's just a tough place to be, a tough place to live, a tough place to work. But I did a lot of great work and had a lot of great experiences. But when I wrote to Pam Bondi about when I resigned, I basically said I needed to go back to Huntington Beach so I could fight for California, because I knew there was an opportunity to jump in this race. And so now I'm here back in Huntington Beach, back in California, fighting to win this race so that I can fight for everyday Californians and restore California to a law and order state.
Our fellow conservatives were so quick to jump on Pam Bondi. I think that she did some extraordinary things that are going to come out later. That she laid the ground floor plan for what I believe is about to happen. All we whine about is there's been no arrests. We have dirty judges everywhere. So you prosecute somebody. You feel good about that? Some dirty judge lets them go, or whatever. It's crazy, and we can't get rid of those appointed judges from very wicked people who have a very bad direction they want to send us. I don't know how. I don't want to bring in. Here comes conspiracy theory, Charlie. It's a one world government, new world order kind of thing, where we got to get rid of the middle class. We got to get rid of people who think for themselves. California, why would they be driving out all these people and seem to be happy, waving goodbye here? Let us help you pack. Get out. Because they don't want us here. They want to create this little Star Trek utopia in California, as Joe Biden said. That's the model for America. They're wanting to get anybody who starts businesses for themselves, raises families like Michael does, has a successful business and actually wants the government out of their business. They don't want us here. They want us out. So I think so much of this all revolves around that, and all the eyes are on California because we are so significantly powerful with size and just money wise. California's got it all. And as California goes, so goes the rest of the nation, as we've seen again and again with very bad legislation. We need to step up. Please, my fellow conservative here in California, please get registered to vote if you're not yet. Yeah. We need you at this election, this coming November, more than ever. I really feel that strongly about it. And we can't just get Steve Hilton in for governor. Fantastic. Hooray. What's he going to do by himself? We watched what they did to Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was basically all alone there trying to fight against this wall of filth, crime, and corruption. And we need an attorney general. We need the Secretary of State. Weber, our current Secretary of State, what do you think all this rampant fraud, election fraud is going on so easily and quickly? This is the Secretary of State who runs the elections. Pay attention. We got a great conservative running for Secretary of State. We got a great conservative running for treasurer who made it past the primary. We got a great attorney general candidate, Michael Gates, right here, who is going to be on the ballot this coming November because he made it past the primary. Thank God. We got to get rid of Rob Bonta. But if you're not paying attention, or we're not stepping up, or we're not letting others know about these people, that's so important, man. Share this show. Share Michael's website. Where do we find you? How do we follow you?
Yeah, so thank you for that. Absolutely. If Steve Hilton gets elected and he has Rob Bonta as his attorney general, Steve Hilton's going to be fighting every day just to survive. So you're absolutely right. People, your audience needs to know that they need to tell all their friends and neighbors how critical this attorney general race is. Because I have a lot of independent authority to turn California around. Everything that I talked about, I don't need the governor or the legislature to do what I want to do to make California safe again and to fight corruption and to protect your constitutional rights. On the other hand, the governor absolutely is dependent on the legislature and is absolutely dependent on the attorney general. So we do need to win this race if we're going to have an effective, functional, constitutional, law-abiding Sacramento government. We actually absolutely need to win this race. If they can go to my website at Gates, the number 4AG, that's Gates 4AG, that's my website, and just check me out there. They can make a contribution. That would be amazing. But they can also follow me on social media. I'm on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. On X, you can find me at Michael Gates ESQ for Esquire. So Michael Gates ESQ, and then Instagram is michael.e.gates, michael.e.gates. So follow me on social media. If you can follow and repost and like and do all that stuff, interact with my accounts, then that'll help me grow the team and grow my following to run a more effective campaign. So thank you for all of that. But yes, this is absolutely critical. Look, this is for all the marbles. If we do not win this election here in 2026, if people like Rob Bonta, who's been running interference on truth and justice and has been covering for corruption for the past 5 years, if he gets reelected, basically gets the approval of the voters for all the corruption that he's engaged in over the past 5 years, it's only going to get worse after this, ladies and gentlemen. We have got to seize this moment to stop the corruption and stop the lawlessness in California by electing a new attorney general and a new governor. So I'm counting on the folks out there. I'm counting on your audience. We've got to mobilize, we've got to spread the word, and we've got to win this election It's for all the marbles. If we don't, California may be lost forever.
He's not exaggerating.
Mm-mm.
I don't think people realize just exactly how bad things are right now.
That's right.
What are the things you cover in your website? And I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you got to be incredibly busy because not only are you running for Attorney General of the state of California, but you also still have a business and a household to run.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take up too much time, but you mentioned the high-speed rail on your website and why that is absolutely so ridiculous and how that has to end, even though federal dollars have supposedly ended for that debacle. But how could the Attorney General have anything to do with that? I know that's just one thing. That's one of many things of the fraud and abuse and waste in the California state government. How could an Attorney General help with that?
So basically, the way the bullet train right now is being funded is in violation of Prop 1A. So there are subsidies, and it's anticipated that there will be public dollars subsidizing the bullet train, the development, and the operation in the future of it. And that violates Prop 1A. Prop 1A specifically says that it cannot have those types of subsidies. So that's one issue. I'd be working with the controller to stop the funding, to close the valve or turn off the valve on funding for the bullet train in the first place. But in addition to that, CharLee, in addition to that, we have heard about all of the waste, fraud, and abuse surrounding the bullet train. And so we're going to be investigating where the dollars have gone so far. And if there's any criminal activity related to where those tax dollars have gone so far, we will prosecute. So there's a couple different ways in which we are going to tackle this issue of the bullet train. Just like any other, the homeless industrial complex, the in-home health care, all of these quote unquote state programs or state sponsored programs where tax dollars have just by the millions and billions have gone into them and then frankly just disappeared. We're going to be investigating all of those as well, and we're going to be prosecuting the wrongdoers. So there's a lot of work to be done, but we will clean things up in California. And let me just illustrate just very, very quickly to your audience how important an election can be. So people may say, well, that's all fine and good, Michael Gates, but how can you actually get anything done on day one? First of all, I know how to do it. I've done it in Huntington Beach for years. I've enforced these laws. I have been very effective. I've made Huntington Beach safe. I've made it orderly. I've made it lawful and not lawless. I have done all this. But on the other hand, don't you think that on day one, when we're elected, when the people like myself who have integrity and who seek to enforce the law and to prosecute criminals for corruption, don't you think a lot of the cockroaches are going to scatter? They're not going to stick around and fight me to continue in their illegal activity. They're going to scatter. They're going to disappear.
Right. So you just dried up the money supply.
Dried up the money supply. So we have nearly $500 billion of California taxpayer money lost through waste, fraud, and abuse. Nearly $500 billion on Rob Bonta's watch. He knew it was being
billion with a B.
That's $22,000 per taxpayer. He knew it was being lost through waste, fraud, and abuse and didn't prosecute it. So he has basically, by his negligence or willful and wanton disregard for the criminal behavior that's been going on, he's allowed it to occur. When I'm in office, having campaigned on the fact that I will not allow it to occur, it's going to dry up on day one. And so we are going to be rescuing taxpayers just by virtue of getting elected if they will elect us.
As Kash Patel found when he took over the Federal Bureau of Investigation, there's a lot of dirty agents in there. A lot of dirty agents. He had to get rid of those first before he could even really get down to business, because those agents were hiding things, keeping things from him, trying to cover up their tracks, to protect their little phony baloney jobs. It would be no different once you got in that AG office, Attorney General office in California. You're going to be surrounded by people who will hate you. Yeah. You're going to need to bring in a lot of new people. Do you have a list of names, a short list of names? Yeah. Like, I know this person. I trust this person. That's a very good litigator. Yes, get them in. You got that ready to go? Because you're going to need it, man.
Yes, and the list is growing. I will be ready on day one. And just so your audience knows too, when it comes to this issue of being sort of plopped in or dropped in as the leader of a department where you might have staff that's resistant or at least not on board with your priorities.
Lie to you. They'll hide stuff. They'll cover it up.
Let me tell you, I already dealt with it with the city of Huntington Beach when I was first elected. I had a similar experience. And then I went back and worked in Washington with basically Biden holdover attorneys. So I've already done this before for about a dozen years. So this will not be my first rodeo. I know the ropes. I know how to handle it. And I know how to get the work of everyday Californians done on day one with or without the full support of my staff.
And the media is going to really hate you. I hope
Let's
you're ready,
it.
my friend. I pray that you win. I know that my God is the God of law and order. That's for sure. We need you so much right now. Yeah. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for putting your hat in the ring. This is an enormous task.
Thank you.
I don't think people realize what it takes to actually run for office like this, especially at that higher level like that. And then we, the voters, don't even know what an attorney general not only does, but what an AG is. We don't even know. We don't vote for it. We don't pay attention. All those other things I mentioned, treasurer, controller, secretary of state. Secretary of state is so important. So please pay attention and go to Michael's website. Donate. He's no Tom Steyer, who spent $240 freaking million of his own money to come in third place in the primary for governor. But go to Michael's website, Michael 4, the number 4, or excuse me, Gates, not Michael, Gates 4AG. Stands for attorneygeneral.com. Gates, Gates, 4AG.com. Anything else that maybe I didn't ask you that you wanted to cover?
No, I'm just ready to get to work and fight for everyday Californians. Like I said, I'm known as a fighter in Huntington Beach in Orange County, California, and I know how to fight for the entire state of California. I have a great record of wins and a great record of results and effectiveness. So if the voters will give me a chance, we will return California to a law and order state. I guarantee you.
And regardless of how you feel about attorneys, having a good one at the top is vitally, vitally important to the control of this state. And he's, running against a party that I swear every single elected representative that's a Democrat in California is an attorney. You don't find a lot of conservatives who are lawyers. Why is that, by the way? Why do you think that is?
I think it used to be the case. I think over the years, the past couple decades, the industry's changed. I think the law schools maybe have gotten a little bit more progressive in their philosophy and their thinking. And so they turn out lawyers who are a little bit more progressive in their thought process and their approach. But there are still some conservatives out there. There's a lot of us who just are lovers of the law. I had a law partner for many years who would come into my office every day in the morning and say, "Are you loving the law today?" And the answer was always yes, I love the law. And part of it is because I am religious. I grew up as a hardcore Catholic all of my life. And so I believe in the rule of law. I believe in rules. I know God is always watching, and he wants us to be holy and virtuous.
Amen.
And so it's just in my DNA. And so that's what I take with me to work every day. That's what I've taken with me out on the campaign trail every day. And so I know God has a plan. And so I'm prayerful every day and hopeful every day that I'm pleasing him and his plan for me in what I'm doing in this campaign. So in addition to everything that your audience can do, they can also continue their prayers for me, for my family, for the state of California. We can win this together, but we won't do it without God. We're going to do it with God.
$50 to help his campaign, because there's a whole lot of work. We got 5 months now before the election in November. There's a whole lot of work to do. There's signs to be purchased. There's commercials to be bought. There's a social media presence. And I don't know what your team is like here, but I'm sure a lot of it is self-funded. Again, you're used to be private sector, very successful. You actually decided, I got a higher calling. I got to help my city by serving a public office. you sacrificed for that, and that makes you a very noble person to me, and makes me want to pay attention to what you have to say and why you would be running. Obviously, as far as I'm concerned, it's all for the right reasons. So please pay attention. Gates4ag.com. Oh, my friend, this was such a blessing. Thank you. You got an open invitation anytime you want to be on my show. You're in.
I'll be back. Thank you. I'll be back. Thank you very much.
All right, brother. Okay. Talk to you soon. This is so important. I hope you understand that now. I hope maybe I was able to introduce you to someone that you're thinking, yeah, I better pay attention to that. From now on, I better pay attention to that. Who's running to be the Attorney General? Because they're calling the shots law-wise from the very, very top. So important. Oh, and please go to my website. Purchase some of my merchandise. I'd sure appreciate it. Like this. Here's what you need, Michael Gates. Let's talk about politics and religion. You need that on your desk right there. You can get one of those, or a shirt, a hat, mug, whatever, at CharLeeSimons.com right here. CharLeeSimons.com, CharLeeSimons.com. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, America, bless God.